There's 5 steps to creating your first ad with Google Ads. The first step is to do keyword research, which we're going to talk about in depth in just a second. Then you're going to set up your campaign. Then you're going to set up an ad group within that campaign, and then you'll set up an ad within that ad group. I'll talk about all this in depth as we go. And the last thing I'm going to talk about are some advanced features like adding negative keywords and how to do device-specific targeting. And these advanced features are going to save you a lot of money. So by the end of this video, you're going to go from a beginner to an expert at Google Ads. And I personally know how powerful Google Ads are. My name is Travis Marziani. I've spent over $100,000 of my own money on Google Ads, and I've been able to build a $4 million e-commerce company. So let's get started with your first Google ad. And the first thing you're going to do is go to ads.google.com. And you're going to want to make sure you have a Gmail account. If you don't already have a Gmail account, go sign up for a Gmail account. But then once you've done that, you're going to go here and you're going to click on the Start Now button. When this screen comes up, you're going to click on New Google Ads Account because you're creating a new Google Ads account. Now, Google has this simple guide that'll help you to set up your first ad with Google Ads. But this is actually a trick. If you go through this, they don't give you all the features, and it's going to end up making it so you spend more money with Google Ads than you probably want to. So the secret here is to scroll down and click Switch to Expert Mode. And by the end of this video, you are going to be an expert, and doing this is going to save you a lot of money. Another very important thing to do is to smash that like button, because when you hit the like button on this YouTube video, it lets me know that you want me to create more Google Ads content. So once you've done that, it's going to bring you to this page right here. And it's going to ask you to choose your objective. What is your goal for your Google Ads ad? For most people, I recommend just going with website traffic. With your Google Ads ad, you're going to be trying to send people to your website. That's not true for everybody. There's all these different goals. So let's go over some of these goals. There is the goal of saying, I just want to have as many sales as possible. This is going to make it so Google actually optimizes the traffic that it's sending to your website so that it leads to as many sales as possible. Another objective that you might have is to try to get as many leads as possible. And a lead is something like getting someone to give you their email or give you their phone number. And with certain types of businesses, getting a lead might be something more important than actually getting them to your website. Some other objectives that they have are product and brand consideration, which encourages people to explore your products or service. There's also brand awareness and reach. This allows you to get your product out to a lot of different people and just lets people know about your product, but it's not necessarily going to convert to sales. You can also promote apps, or if you have a local business that has a physical storefront, you're trying to encourage people to actually come to your store in person, local store visits and promotions is a good option. You can also create a campaign without any kind of goal guidance if you want, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go with website traffic because I do think it's probably the most common way that people use Google Ads. Now we're going to select what kind of a Google Ads campaign we want to run. And search is probably the most common type of Google Ads. These are ads that show up in the Google search results, and they look pretty much like normal search results. This is what we're going to do for this tutorial, but you could also do display ads. And display ads are banner ads that you see on websites all over the internet. And these aren't necessarily as effective for actually creating sales, but they do help to build brand awareness, and they can be useful if you're doing remarketing ads, which is a more advanced topic I'll talk about later in this video. There's also shopping ads, which are extremely powerful, especially if you're selling a physical product and you want people to come to your website and buy a product. What makes these so powerful is when people are searching in Google, it'll show a picture of your product along with the price of your product. And people will only really click on that ad if they're interested in buying your product. This is one of the ad types that led to me being able to build that $4 million e-commerce business. Another very popular campaign type is video ads. And if you want to run ads on YouTube, if you want to do video ads in the pre-roll, this is the campaign type you're going to select. And I will be honest, YouTube ads have started to be a little bit more expensive, but they can be extremely effective because it allows you to get in front of your customer using a video like this, which allows you to create a lot more of a personal connection. Another option is the discovery ads, and you can actually run ads in Gmail, run ads on YouTube, run ads all over the place. Selecting a discovery campaign is a way that'll get your advertising out there in a really unique and different way. I don't necessarily recommend it. There's also a new campaign type called Performance Max, which allows you to reach audiences all over Google just by clicking this one campaign type. But again, I think one of the most powerful ways that you could actually run Google Ads, and the original way that Google Ads were run, is by selecting search. So now it asks us what our business website is, and I'm going to put in the website for my product here. And it asks us if we'd like to create a conversion action, which will allow us to track how many sales we're getting, or maybe if you're trying to track how many email signups you're getting or phone numbers, you could create some kind of conversion action around that. We're not going to do that in this video. That's a more advanced topic for another video. Now we're going to start setting up our first campaign, and it allows us to put a campaign name, and this can be whatever you want. So I'm just going to put keto nut butter here because I sell a product that is a ketogenic nut butter food type product. So we'll put that as the campaign name. It's also going to ask you, do you want to include Google search partners? And this is another way that Google tries to trick you into spending more money. I do not recommend including Google search partners. There are times where it does make sense to do this, and this might be something that you want to test, but generally speaking, I find that if I include Google search partners, I end up having to pay more money per conversion. Same thing with the display network. Some more features that you can look at is if you click on the show me more settings, you can set a start date for your campaign. You can also set an end date. Now, usually I don't set an end date. I just let my campaigns run for as long as they're profitable. There's some other things you can do here as well, including scheduling your ads. So maybe you only want your ad to show up between 9 in the morning to 5 o'clock at night, because you know that people are only buying your products during standard business hours, in which case we'd come over here and we'd select that right here. But this isn't always true. Oftentimes people are buying things all hours of the day. We're also going to scroll down here and we can target what locations we want our ads to show up in. Now, most people make the mistake of clicking on this and clicking all countries and all territories, where if you're selling a product that really only people in the United States can buy, you're not going to want to select that. You're going to want to select just the United States. Now, an even more advanced thing that you can do is you can click here to enter specific locations. So for instance, let's say you had a business that was just based in Los Angeles, California. This shows you that you have a reach of 28 million people. So this would only advertise your ad to people within Los Angeles, California. But another really interesting feature is you can also exclude people. So let's say you wanted to target everybody in Los Angeles, but you wanted to exclude anybody that lives in Santa Monica, California, which is where I live. You go over here and you click on exclude. Now, one secret I don't see anybody else talking about is you always want to click on this button right here, and you want to click on presence. You want to make sure that people actually have a physical presence in the location that you're targeting. By default, it just says it'll target people that have a presence or an interest. Meaning if Google thinks people are interested in Los Angeles, California, it's going to show them the ad, even if they're not actually living in Los Angeles. Once we have that set, we're going to scroll down and we can select what languages we want to target. Now, if your business does serve people that speak different languages, this is a good opportunity. You could, for instance, do Spanish here, but for most people watching this video, you're probably going to only want to target an English-speaking audience. The next thing it asks you is if you want to select an audience segment. Now, this is a more advanced feature that you don't need to worry about, but using audience segments, you can actually create an audience of people that have already visited your website. And you can tell Google, I only want to target people that have already been to my website once before. Or if you wanted to, you could even tell Google to only show this ad to people that have been to a specific page on your website. There's a bunch of other ways that you can segment your audience. Again, this is a more advanced feature. If you want me to do a video about this, hit the like button. And if this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll do a video going into even more depth about audience segments. Now we're going to set our budget. And most people make the mistake of setting their budget either way too low or way too high. Now you can set your budget to be less if you want or more if you want, but remember, the higher your budget is, the more money you're going to pay in ads, and the more money you pay in ads, the faster you're going to figure out what's working and what's not working. With Google Ads, for the first couple weeks, you're probably not going to make any money. You're paying for knowledge, you're paying for information, you're paying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. Now, by default, when you set up your Google Ads campaign, it's going to try to maximize your budget. It's going to try to get as many clicks as possible, but you probably don't want to let Google be in charge of that. I do recommend setting a maximum cost per click, because Google is going to charge you every time someone clicks on your ad. It's going to charge you a maximum of whatever you put in here. So I'm going to say, no matter what, Google, never charge me more than $2.50 per click on my ad. And as we scroll down, this is another common feature that a lot of people miss, which is ad extensions. Ad extensions allow your ad to be bigger and take up more real estate on the Google search results. And it even says that people that use ad extensions get up to a 15% higher click-through rate, meaning more people are going to be clicking on your ads. And there's a few different types of ad extensions here. There's site link extensions that allows you from your Google ad to put links to specific pages on your website. Maybe you want to put a site link to your About Us page, a specific product. Maybe there's some other page that you know that people want to click directly to. You can use site links. Another powerful extension that you can add to your Google ad is the call extension. This allows you to put a button on your Google ad that people can click on when they see your ad in Google, and they can call your business directly. So if you have a business where you want people to actually call you, then I would highly recommend using the call extension. Now we're going to click Save and Continue, and we're going to set up our first ad group here. Again, you can put whatever you want for the ad group name. I'm just going to put keto nut butter here, and we're going to scroll down here, and Google has already pre-populated some different keywords that it thinks that we should target for our Google ads. And if you don't know how Google Ads works, basically the way it works is you tell Google what you want your ads to show up for. So for instance, if I wanted my ads to show up every time someone typed in keto nut butter, I would use that as a keyword. Now there's a problem with this. If I just type in keto nut butter, this is what's called a broad match keyword, which tells Google that I want my ad to show up as long as people are typing in the word keto, nut, and butter. The problem with broad match is someone might type into Google, I hate keto, I never want to eat nut butter, and my ad is still going to show up because my keyword is broad match. And if you put quotations around the keyword that you're targeting, it's going to make it so Google will only show your ad if the phrase keto nut butter shows up, or whatever phrase you put in quotations are. Which means that if someone puts a word in between keto, nut, or butter, my ad will not show up, but still the problem is someone might type in something like, I hate keto nut butter, and my ad's still gonna show up. So the last thing you can do is what's called exact match. And that's where you put little square brackets around the phrase that you're trying to target. And this tells Google, I only wanna show my ad if exactly this phrase shows up. So in this case, I would only show my ad if exactly keto nut butter shows up. Now, I don't recommend always just doing exact match. I think if you're a beginner, it's helpful to do exact match because you're not gonna get any surprises. But as you become a little bit more advanced, I do recommend doing some phrase match and some broad match, because when you do broad match, there might be things that people are typing into Google that you never would have thought of where they actually want to buy your product. For instance, someone might type in buy keto nut butter, and if I was just doing exact match, I would not show up for that search result. So what I recommend doing is to use broad match or phrase match, but to add negative keywords. But by using negative keywords, it allows you to give Google a list of words that if those words show up in a search result, you're basically telling Google, I do not want my ad to show up if any of these words show up in a search. And knowing how to use negative keywords is a very powerful tool that's gonna help you to make a lot of money and make sure that Google's not wasting your money. And I'm gonna talk about that in depth later in this video. But for now, if you're setting up your first Google ad, go ahead and just use exact match. Once we've typed in our keywords here, we can click and go to Save and Continue. Now at this point, we're actually gonna tell Google what we want our ad to say. And this is an extremely important part of the process. I've seen people that do all other aspects of setting up their Google Ads account perfectly, but then they don't do this part right, and it ends up leading to them wasting a lot of money. So this shows you a preview of what your ad's gonna look like on a mobile phone, and this shows you a preview of what your ad would look like on desktop. So we're gonna go over here, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna tell Google what the final URL we want to send people that click on our ad, where they should go. Then we're gonna scroll down here and we can create a headline. Now Google has already written out what it thinks should be in our ad here, and it's really pretty bad actually. So we're gonna change this, and I'm gonna show you some secrets on how to write an ad that people are actually gonna wanna click on. And an important thing to remember here is the higher your click-through rate is, which is basically the percentage of people that see your ad and click on your ad, the higher that is, the less money Google is gonna charge you every time someone clicks on your ad. So you wanna make it so that this ad stands out, so it gets people's attention. Because if it gets people's attention, they're more likely to click on it. So for the first title here, we're gonna put #1 best keto nut butter. And you can see that we still have space to write more for the headline. We've only used 23 of the possible 30 characters. So for now, I'm just gonna put #1 best keto nut butter ever. For the next line, I'm gonna put 100% made in the USA. And one thing that you'll notice is I try to use numbers in special characters like a percentage sign or the number sign. This is gonna get people's attention because when they're scrolling on Google, they see a bunch of letters, but if they see a special symbol like a percentage sign or they see numbers, it's gonna be a little bit more eye-catching, which means they're more likely to click on your ad, which means ultimately that you're gonna spend less money with Google. Another thing you're going to want to do when writing the headline for your ad is you're going to want to try to include whatever the keyword you're targeting is. Because if people are going to Google and typing in keto nut butter, and then in my headline it says keto nut butter, they're going to think, oh, okay, well, this is exactly what I want. And you can go through here and you want to try to include as many characters as you can and really write something that's going to make people want to click on your ad. But for now, I'm just going to leave it how it is, and we're going to click Save and Continue. And at this point, you're going to want to put in your payment information and click Submit. It's then going to bring you to this page, and the first thing I recommend doing is going and actually pausing the campaign that you created, because the way that we created that campaign, we were just kind of guessing in the dark. I'm actually going to give you a tool that you can use to find amazing keywords to target, and Google gives this to you for free. If you click up here on Tools and Settings and go to the Keyword Planner, this is a tool that I would pay hundreds of dollars for that they give you absolutely for free. We're going to click on Discover New Keywords here, and I'm going to type in here keto nut butter because that was the idea that we have. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to tell us how many times per month people search keto nut butter. And look at this, it's 100 to 1,000 times per month people are searching for keto nut butter, but it also tells us that the competition is high, and it says that people are on average bidding somewhere between 96 cents to $7.78 for this keyword. So what we're going to do here is we're going to scroll through and see if we can find something that's maybe a little bit better of an opportunity, because keto nut butter is pretty saturated. There's high amounts of competition. And we can see here peanut keto has a low amount of competition, but my product actually doesn't have peanuts in it. So I'm going to scroll through here until I find something that I think is a really good opportunity. And I see that one of the keywords that it suggests is macadamia nut butter keto. But you know what? I'm going to get rid of the keto part, and I'm just going to target macadamia nut butter. And let's put this into the tool and see what the results say. We can see here that the average number of searches is actually more. It's 1,000 to 10,000. Still says the competition is high. But when we come over here, we can see that the bid is between 42 cents and $1.67. So it's way cheaper. Now we're going to take this keyword, we're going to copy it, and we're going to create a new campaign around this keyword. And to do that, we're going to click on the X right here. We're going to go back to the other page that we had. And one thing that I like to do is I like to switch the view because I think it's a little bit easier to use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click up here to all campaigns, and I'm going to click New Campaign. And we're going to go through this process again. I'm going to go to website traffic, into search, and from here I'll put in the website again, and campaign name. We're going to call this macadamia nut butter. We're going to click Continue. And even though this section looks different, it's very similar to what we set up before. I'm going to set the maximum cost per click at $1.50 because we did the research and we saw that $1.50 was right in the range where Google would actually show the ad. We're going to come down here again. We're going to unclick this. We're going to unclick this. I'm going to set the location to the United States because I want to sell my product all over the United States. If I wanted to, I can always exclude any other locations, but for now we're just going to stay with the United States, and we're going to go click here to next. Then when Google asks us what keyword I want to target, I'm going to delete all these suggestions it gave us, and I'm going to laser focus on macadamia nut butter here. And we can see here that it says we're probably going to get about 21 clicks per week, and our average cost per click is going to be around 71 cents. Not bad. I can deal with that. So we're going to scroll down to this part and we're going to create our ad. And this is going to be a similar process to what we've done before. Sometimes you're going to get these little warning signs here, and it's just saying that I need to put in HTTPS right there, and hopefully that'll fix it. And right here, we're going to change this because we're targeting people that are typing in macadamia nut butter. We're going to want to make sure that our ad says macadamia nut butter. And I like to use capital letters right here, nut butter. And since that only takes up 20 characters, we still have more characters left. I'm going to put #1 best macadamia nut butter. We can go through and we can optimize the rest of this. 100% made in the USA. And we could add some more things to our ad down here if we wanted to. For now, we're just going to leave it how it is. And we're going to click done. Then we're going to click next. And it asks us, do we want to add any kind of site link extensions? For now, we're going to skip this section. It's a more advanced topic. Again, if you want me to do a more advanced video, hit the like button. This video gets 1,000 likes. I'll do a more in-depth video talking about Google Ads. We'll go through here and we'll click next again. It's recommending that our average budget should be $500 a day, which seems a little bit high to me, so I'm gonna set a custom budget of $20 a day and click next. And it gives us some warnings here, but those aren't that important. It's basically just, again, Google trying to get you to spend more money. I'm gonna ignore those and I'm gonna click Publish Campaign. And you can see here on the left are all the campaigns we have. If we click on one of those campaigns, it'll show the ad groups within those campaigns. And if we click on the ad group itself, we can actually go in here and we can find all the different ads. And the way it works is you'll have one campaign. Within that campaign, you could have multiple ad groups, and within those ad groups, if you wanted to, you could have multiple ads. And I do recommend setting up at least 2 ads in every ad group. And you can think about it as the ad group is where you tell Google what keywords you want to target, and the ad is what you're actually showing the customer. And if you set up at least 2 ads in an ad group, Google will alternate. They'll show one time and the other time, and it'll test out and it'll tell you which one performs better. For instance, you might have one ad that has a 5% click-through rate, meaning for every 100 times Google shows your ad, 5 people click on your ad. On the other hand, maybe if you do some testing and you try to optimize this, you could come up with an ad that has a 10% click-through rate, meaning for every 100 times Google shows your ad, 10 people click on your ad. And if you improve your click-through rate, it's actually gonna make it so that your price per click gets cut in half. And the way to do this is just to click on this little plus icon here and create the ad the same way that we've created the ads before. You're just gonna go through here and fill out all this information, and Google will split test your ads. Now I'm gonna show you how to add negative keywords, which is gonna save you a lot of money, as well as how you can target specifically mobile devices, or if you want, exclude mobile devices and only focus on computers and laptops. But before we do that, it's important to understand how to do keyword research, how to figure out where you should be showing your ads. And I have a free tool I'm gonna give to you. If you click on the link down below, put in your email, I'm gonna give you this Excel spreadsheet that'll help you to do keyword research. And there's a few different types of keywords you should be targeting. The first one is specific keywords. And these are things that someone would specifically type into Google to find specifically your product. So for instance, with my product, it's keto nut butter, it's a macadamia nut butter, it's a coconut butter, it's a Whole30 nut butter. If someone types that into Google and they see my product, they're really likely to actually want to purchase my product. Another type of keyword that you'd want to target are broad keywords. This is something like keto snack. If someone goes to Google and types in keto snack, they're not specifically looking for my product, but they are looking for something that's in the category that my product is in. My product is a keto snack, it's a Whole30 snack, it's keto food, and broad keywords are not going to give you the same kind of success as specific keywords, but it's still really important to test this out and see if it works for you. You can also try related keywords. If someone goes to Google and types in healthy fat or keto or the keto diet, they're not even really looking for keto snacks, but if they're interested in the keto diet, they're probably also going to be interested in keto snacks. One of my top secret ways that I've made the most money on Google Ads is by targeting competitors. And you can use their name as a keyword. So if someone goes into Google and types in my competitor's name, my ad is going to show up, because if they're interested in my competitor, they're probably also interested in my product. I also have this checklist for you that's going to help you to set up your first Google ad. I'll put that in the link down below. But now let me show you how to find and use negative keywords, which is a very powerful tool that's going to save you a lot of money. So again, we're going to go to the tools and settings up here, and we're going to go to the keyword planner. We're going to click on discover new keywords, and let's say we're going to try typing in keto nut butter, because that's one of the keywords that I'm targeting. So we're going to click on this, and we're going to go through here and we're going to look for things that people are likely to type into Google, where if they type that in, I don't want to show my ad. For instance, peanut. If someone types in the word peanut, I probably don't want to show my ad. Another one is almond. My product doesn't have any almonds in it. It's just macadamia, coconut, and cashew. So I don't want to target that. We're then going to take this, we're going to copy it, and we'll go back to the campaigns here. We'll click on the campaign that we want to add the negative keywords to, and we'll go over here to keywords, and we'll go to negative keywords, and we're going to click add negative keywords. So I'm going to paste those in here. Peanut and almond were 2 of the words that I wanted to add as negative keywords. Another one that I'll add in here is Amazon. If someone is typing in keto nut butter Amazon, they don't want to come to my website. They want to go to Amazon. So I don't want to show them my ad. I don't want to waste my money. You're going to want to think of as many negative keywords as possible. Now we're going to click on the save button. Another great way to save a lot of money is to click on devices. And this will allow you to adjust how much money you're spending depending on whether your ad shows up on a computer, a mobile phone, or a tablet. And what I generally recommend is going to mobile phone and decreasing it by at least 50%. What I find is people that click on your ad from a computer are more likely to actually buy your product. People are less likely to buy things from a mobile phone. In fact, if you wanted to, you could actually go in here and decrease it by 100%. Let's say you didn't even want to advertise to mobile phones at all. On the other hand, if you had a business where you want people to actually pick up the phone and call you, you're going to want to go over to computers and you're going to want to click on decrease by 100%. So depending on whether you think your customers are more likely to buy your product on a computer, a mobile phone, or a tablet, you can adjust the bid, which will change how much you're spending per click. And Google Ads is a great way to set up marketing for your business and create a passive income business. But if you want to know what I think the 7 best ways to actually create a passive income business are, I did a video right here where I talk about how I'm able to make over $85,000 per month passive income by using the techniques I talk about in this video right here. So click on that video. I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.